As I already have the outline for the entire narrative, I can't just invent something random. The story is set in a land with cold and wet winters, and hot and dry summers, so CSA is the only possible climate, and this land has an ocean to the west of it, and to the east, tall mountains. Between them, there are 3 great valleys, each one 2 times bigger than the last. There's also hot springs and volcanoes, so this is likely a subduction zone. And the best real-world analogues are central Chile and California. And with all of that in mind, I'm going to assemble a map from pieces of the real world, and then, at some point, I'll transform the results into something more appropriate for a fantasy novel. The first thing to do is to align the great valleys, and then shape the landscape around them. Pieces of central Chile are going to come very much in handy. This is the estuary of River Thames, and I'm going to place it here. These are some volcanoes from Kamchatka. It lies at a subduction zone as well. Here's another Kamchatka volcano. And another one. This is Mount Fuji. I'm now moving everything to a larger canvas and starting to add some water. Modern-day California is full of man-made reservoirs, pumps and dams, so you have to watch out. I'm copying wetlands and stealing rivers from a map that doesn't reflect the present-day landscape, and I'm not going to record it all. If you'd like to see something like it, then you can watch this old video I have on my channel. In this video, we skip forward to the Bay of Naples, which I'm placing here. This is a piece of Turkey. This little bob is from the coast of Peru. And here I rotate things a little, but I need to rotate harder. Here's the map I had drawn for myself before I started writing the story. Yes, this is the level of detail I've been working with. So I'm going to bring my new map more in line with it. And I think I'm done, at least with step number 1. I need some numbers before I can place my cities and towns. Once again, I'm taking my own advice. and using Zipf's law to guide me. My largest city, down in the Bay of Naples, has 40,000 inhabitants within its walls, so the second largest city will have half of that, and the third largest one a third, and on like that, but I'll stop my calculations at 50. Places with fewer than 800 inhabitants will not go on the map. And in addition to 800 people, every town I mark also needs water to drink, some arable land, and natural resources of some kind. I have examined the maps of California, so now I know that the local hills and mountains have some mineral ores. Lots and lots of gold and copper, a little bit of iron, and some coal, which will be appreciated by the inhabitants of my world, as they are enjoying the Iron Age at the moment. And so, almost all the larger towns are by the rivers, in the lowlands, near the foothills. Like this. And for every town, I know what sorts of rocks are nearby. They all get processed as much as possible, right by the mine, and then transported to the lowland towns by people on foot and by pack animals, where the raw materials are turned into something nice, and then maybe put on boats and transported onwards. Anyway, I now need to name everything, and naturally, I already have 2 naming languages. Otherwise, how would I have ever named my characters? And there's also a backstory to these languages. In the olden days of this part of the world, everyone in the 3 valleys spoke many varieties of the same language. But then, a wholly different group of people moved southwards from the northern hills. They took over the small valley, then the medium valley, and in the story, they are out to conquer the big valley as well. The newcomers speak their own language, but they have inherited most of the place names from the autochthonous inhabitants. So what I will do is give entirely transparent names to all the towns, even though most are likely old enough for their names to have ground down. I'm just not in the mood to create a proto-language right now. And of course, the newcomers will take those town names and mangle them. So here they are, all laid out in a table. If my characters ever visit, some of them may end up getting altered, but this is what they are today. And the rivers, I'm sure, were named so long ago that their names can be entirely opaque, and my mountains are all over the place. So, I have a preliminary map, a much better one than I previously had, and now I can go and rest until next time, when I will think harder about the human inhabitants.